Daarom iedereen, dit is Sessies met Tora weer met een video en vandaag wil ik jullie introduceren aan twee artiesten voor wie ik heel veel respect heb om wat ze doen en hoe ze Bhakti en moderne muziek met elkaar mixen. En heel veel mensen met wie ik het muziek heb gedeeld, die vinden de muziek geweldig. En ook als ik in Suriname aan het rijden ben en mensen horen het muziek terwijl we bij een stoplicht zijn bijvoorbeeld, dan vragen ze me altijd van, hey, wat voor muziek is dat? Dus om jullie te introduceren, het is mijn eer, introduceer ik jullie aan Ax en Lakshmi. Hi Ax, hi Lakshmi.
Hello.
Good evening.
Good evening. Great to be here with you.
And you guys are in Holland right now, so that's an amazing. That's amazing. I'm assuming you guys. This is the first time you guys came to the Netherlands.
Absolutely.
First time
here.
Okay, and you guys are going to be performing in a few days, right?
That's right.
And you're going to do a Yoga Nidra concert.
That's right.
So tell me a bit about that.
Yeah, with DCF, we're excited to be here and present for the first time for a Dutch audience. And we're doing two concerts. We're doing one for babies, their mothers, expectant mothers, toddlers, so that kind of age group. And then the second one is going to be for adults. And both are totally different concepts. The first one is going to be on Lord Krishna, kind of exploring how Lord Krishna is worshipped in different parts of India. So it takes you on a journey through India, and we'll be doing songs in various Indian languages, and kind of looking at the different ways in which people think about Krishna. And you want to say about the second program?
Yeah, sure. The second concert is a total mind-body relaxation. It's the audience will be asked to lie down on their yoga mats. They will be in Chetanasana. They will be relaxing the entire time while listening to Hindu chants, mantras, bhajans, and they'll immerse themselves in positivity and peace and Hindu music as they come out rejuvenated for this 2020 New Year.
Can you tell me a bit about why you guys are making this Bhakti music, but in such a modern way?
You know, it's interesting. It kind of came as a result of our backgrounds, but really we were looking for a way to connect with the material ourselves. I think that the best art comes out of when you're just trying to be yourself. I think when you're trying to express yourself, and the expression of Bhakti music that we came up with is purely just a combination of our background along with our upbringing. And those two things kind of put together, you get something that's very new, just because as life evolves, you start finding new artistic expressions of how to express that religiosity, how to express that Bhakti.
Because what we have alike is that you guys also grew up in the West, right? So the modern world, for what we call the modern world, that is normal to you. You guys grew up in that. But of course, you guys are Hindus. You have the Hindu tradition and Hindu spirituality as your background.
Yeah.
And you found this an amazing way to combine both worlds together and actually create a platform for other people like me to enjoy modern music, to enjoy hip music, but of course doing our bhakti while doing that, which is amazing, and I'm thankful for that, of course. But can you tell me why do you make modern music like that? So the upbeat music and music that we already know, and then turn that into bhakti music. And I'll be honest, sometimes I like the Bhakti version a lot better than the original version.
Great, that's
you know, and it's the Bhakti version that sticks in my mind, and I can't even remember the words of the original one.
Right.
So can you tell me what drove you guys to take that step?
Yeah. You know something. Sometimes when you infuse, here's the thing, right? A lot of Bhakti music, it comes down to the lyrical content. We're not writing lyrics ourselves. We're taking the words of the poet saints, and they lived lives which were totally beyond the physical realm. You know, they were in a totally different realm of consciousness, and I think that when we take their lyrics, when we take that Bhakti component, and when we kind of put it to modern music, it transforms modern music. You know, it's kind of the difference between when you hear a pop song versus a pop song with Bhakti lyrics. Why do you feel different? The lyrical content, the intentionality behind it. So that intentionality is what transforms what's just modern music into something that's transformative at a spiritual level. And I think that's kind of what we're trying to do here. Because I think that, sure, lyrics that talk about, very day-to-day experiences are good. I mean, in their own way, people relate to that. But I think that we're all looking for a deeper answer to life's questions, and that deeper answer only comes when you look to the past. You know, the past informs the future. That's an interesting way to think about it, because you know, in our mindset today, it's like, who cares about the past? It's really not true. There are seers, there are saints who have discovered answers to life's most pressing questions, and it's a question of just looking at their wisdom and saying that, hey, they were all humans. You know, they had bhakti, and that bhakti led them to figure out what life is really about. So when we start acknowledging that, we can bring that into our own experience. We can combine it with the way that we kind of experience the world and create something that hopefully future generations will look at and say that, yeah, this is important. So
That's very inspiring. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. And what poets do you inspire you the most?
Oh gosh, it's such an ocean. Of course, Mirabai, Surdas, Kabir, Tulsidas, and then the South Indian poet saints, Saint Tyagaraja,
Okay.
Muthuswami Dikshitar,
Yeah.
Shyama Shastri, Uttakadi Venkata Kavi. There are just so many saints, and every region, if you think of Maharashtra, we think of Namdev, Tukaram, Janabai,
Yeah.
Muktabai.
Yeah.
And so it's a plethora of saints and sages.
Yeah.
And every time, I mean, sometimes we approach a song thinking about the saint, and then we think about, okay, how did Mirabai conceptualize Lord Krishna as Giridhar Gopal? And we think of her bhakti towards that specific deity. Or we think of Lord Rama, we think of the deity, for example, and then we think, who are the saints who composed on Lord Rama? And we think of Saint Tulsidas, we think of Tyagaraja, composer, Carnatic composer. So it's just so many different ways we approach our stotras and bhajans, and it's such an ocean that every time we come across one song, we think, there are thousands and millions more expressing that bhakti, that bhava, that emotionality of devotion.
And it seems that you guys are trying to approach the divine through the path that another poet has already made for us. And so you're trying to walk their path and finding their goals.
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, they found the divine
Yeah.
in their own way, and I think for us, we have you know, they were at a level of consciousness which sometimes, you know, when we look at that, we're like, yeah, we can never get there. It's not a question of getting there, it's a question of trying to incorporate certain aspects of their lifestyle into our lifestyle today. If we can do that, then there's a chance that in this lifetime we can actually start living in that mindset of God is everywhere, God is in everyone. And, you know, through exploring the words of the poet saints, it's really about, you know, let's try to incorporate the qualities of their life that will really transform our relationships today.
Yeah. And what you're saying now is trying to incorporate their way of thinking in our modern lives, which is so essential and so necessary now in this day and age. Not only for us Hindus, but I mean for everybody. Their messages are so universal,
Yes.
and it's for everybody actually. So everybody should be able to benefit from this way of thinking.
Exactly.
And you're trying to promote that through music and mantras and bhajans, which is for me, from my perspective, that's an amazing thing to do, because usually in my entire life, of course I love bhakti, I love bhajans, but there was always a missing component of that modernity, which I grew up in
Yes.
Yeah.
and with, which was hard to combine with,
Yes.
with the bhajans, and you guys are creating a bridge to do that. But are there any other ways that you would recommend or think about that how can I normalize, or how can bhakti or the bhakti lifestyle become normal for Hindus here in the West, and actually people here in the West?
Yeah.
What would you recommend?
I think it's an everyday journey. I think the more knowledgeable we become about our culture, our traditions, we take a little bit of time, say, you know, an hour a week, just to learn about, you know, what are these traditions that have been passed down in my family? Why do my grandparents say certain things? What's the science behind certain rituals, certain ways of thinking? If we take some time, we become more knowledgeable. Once we have knowledge, then we become proud. There's so many things about Indian culture and Hindu culture that we can be proud of. And if all of us feel that pride and we live that pride, then we can normalize it. It's not something that the other does, but we all do it. And what you said about the plurality of our everyday life. So we've both grown up in very pluralistic backgrounds. We love Hinduism, but we love every religious tradition. We think there's meaning and beautiful values that every religion teaches people. And so to kind of bring Hinduism on par with all the other religious traditions that we're all proud of, I think it's every Hindu's responsibility to learn about our tradition and live that way of life that our forefathers have lived and taught.
Amazing. Thank you for that. So I'm looking forward to seeing you guys perform during the concert on the 11th.
Thank you.
And you want to say something to the people?
Yeah, it's been an amazing experience ever since we stepped foot here. Just the hospitality of the Dutch people has warmed our hearts, and we'd like to do our part by sharing Bhakti music with all of you, and join us for a transformative experience, and that too in a spiritually charged atmosphere of the church. And that's going to be something very special, and we look forward to singing the praises of Lord Krishna and all of the other beloved gods of the Hindu pantheon there.
Great. And you guys are going to do 2 concerts on the same day. The first concert is going to be for babies, toddlers, pregnant women.
That's right.
And that's for the benefit of the development of the little kids, the babies, the next generation.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, we can't forget about ourselves. So in the nighttime concerts, or later on to that day, we're going to do a lying down concert in the savasana, or they call it the Chetana asana. And we're going to listen to you guys performing and singing mantras in a very relaxing and spiritual way, together with, of course, Praveen and Daniela. And I'm really looking forward to hearing you guys. Thank you for this vlog. Thank you for this interview, and thank you for being you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dank jullie wel voor het luisteren en bekijken van de video. En ik kijk ernaar uit om er te zijn tijdens hun concert. Sabko kiraurang.